It's your boy, Simo the C. Mitchell, checking in with another Bird Bath ATL. We got a jam-packed show real quick. I'm going to try to be real quick about all this. First and foremost, we're going to talk about Tua, and then I'm going to give you guys 3 reasons why Jessie Bates is going nowhere. So, recently, Tua had his talk. He addressed the press, I guess, a little bit. He's talked to a few of the pundits in Atlanta, and he's talking like a QB1. He's saying all the right things, all the politically correct things. He's saying, yeah, I came here to compete with Michael. It's going to be great for us to get in there and compete against each other to help this team get to a Super Bowl. And I really love that he said get to a Super Bowl. I think it's a little bit overzealous for a lot of you fans out there to assume that we're going to be able to make a Super Bowl this year. But I want to hear my players actually having that goal in mind. And honestly, I don't want to sell you guys any wood nickels, but this team is built in a way that we could potentially get to a Super Bowl. Keep in mind, Sam Darnold just won one. And people had kind of given up on him a little bit. But he's saying all the right things, and then he went on to say things like, we've got Bijan in the backfield. He compared him to Devon Achane, which I think is a little bit disrespectful because Devon Achane is a bad boy, but he is not Bijan. There are very few running backs in this league that are Bijan. I think that's arguably the best back in the league. There's only a couple of running backs that you could kind of put up there with him. Maybe a Saquon, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs. Like I told you, the boy Jahmyr Gibbs don't pass block like the boy Bijan does. He's not laying out linebackers coming off the edge like that. But he talked about Drake London. We got Drake, yards after catch. We got Kyle. And I love the confidence. I've been listening, and I consume a lot of other publications. I've been listening to Chris Sims on the Button podcast with Mike Florio. Specifically, he said he thinks that Tua's going to probably be the starting quarterback come week 1, that he's going to take over that position, and he doesn't see or expect him to actually let a loose of that position. When you listen to some of the people on 92.9 The Game, the flagship station for all Atlanta sports, mostly Falcons, is the Falcons flagship station. But my favorite show, the midday show with Andy and Randy and Randy McMichael, he is a former NFL tight end himself. And he made a very valid point. It's kind of got me thinking that Tua is potentially going to start, not only start week 1, but he's probably going to be the QB1 for the foreseeable future. One thing is that Michael Penix is hurt right now. I want you guys to keep that in mind. With him being injured, it's really hard to see him being able to compete against Tua right now. And then he even said that if Tua were to compete with Penix and Penix was healthy, that he thinks that he would take over that position as well too. Of course, Penix has the deep ball. He can make all the throws. He can make throws that Tua cannot make, but Tua's got the accuracy. He knows how to play the position the way that you would want a quarterback to play the position. And I think that that's something that Penix can actually learn from him. Now, keep in mind, we also signed Trevor Siemian as well too, and I don't think that that's a person of consequence, really. I just think that it says a lot about how they're hedging their bets and whether they think that Penix is going to be healthy to start week 1 or not. I think that they want to be able to go into week 1 with a backup quarterback in case Michael Penix is hurt. Regardless of whether you think Penix should be the starting quarterback or Tua, if Penix isn't able to start out in week 1, then Tua's going to have to go, and they won't have a backup quarterback. So I think that was a good move to make. And there's also, keep in mind, the recent NFL rules have changed that allow you to carry a third emergency quarterback that does not count against the active 48-man roster on game days, as long as he's a part of the active 53-man roster after camp. So I think that we'll probably see that. Now, in my humble opinion, talking to Steve Hightower, our resident sports specialist, he says that ACL tears are something that you can come back to in less than a year. And the timetable oftentimes for that is around 9 months. Now, I think that Penix will actually be able to be back in week one. I think that they say he's already out here running. He's making strides. He's doing things. I think he'll be able to do the 7-on-7. And I believe that he will potentially be able to be in padded competition come camp. Now, there's a chance he might not be able to. We have to kind of take his word when he says that he's ahead of schedule. But, I mean, I don't think you've ever heard a quarterback or any player who was hurt with the ACL say that they were behind schedule or they won't be ready. So I think a lot of players are blindly optimistic. They are always hoping for better than what the training staff is telling them. But I take his word at face value on that. And again, he is a consummate competitor. So I do think that there's a strong chance we can have him back for week one. But I want you guys to let me know, do you think, and this is the question of the day, do you think that Tua is going to be the week one starter? And if he is the week one starter, do you think he's going to relinquish that position? And if you think that he will, let me know in what week do you think it's going to take, or by what week do you think it would take for Michael Penix to actually get the job back. Now, we're going to talk a little bit next about why you don't get rid of Jessie Bates, because I've been seeing a lot of different people, fans, and even other podcasts for Falcons say that we should trade Jessie Bates and asking, do you trade him? So I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you don't trade him. But we're going to hop into this comment section and say what up to a lot of our loyal Bird Bath subscribers. The boy Trent says, smart to say Tua has the head start. State of reaction, I'm in here, fool. That's the homie Doe. Make sure y'all check out the State of Reaction. Drops really dope content. Trent also says, but Penix said he's ready. Penix has the higher ceiling, better traits, all around, younger, bigger, faster, stronger, mentally and physically. I tend to agree with that. He definitely has the better physical attributes. He can make all the throws that you want to make. I'm kind of hesitant to say that he's the more mentally tough quarterback. Honestly, I think he is the more mentally tough quarterback. Tua seems like he takes a lot of things to heart, but he knows what it takes to play in this league. And if I'm being honest, I mean, a few years ago, he threw for like 4,000 yards and was on his way to possibly becoming the league MVP. He was in the running for that. And then he had another good year as well, too. He took the Miami Dolphins to the playoffs twice. They didn't do very well, but the Dolphins hadn't made the playoffs in quite a while. Now, some people, myself included, will say that was a Brian Flores team that should have been there anyway. Brian Flores really turned that team around, and I kind of feel like Mike McDaniels kind of came in and took over something that was already made there. But that's here nor there. Trenton says, Tua is the true definition of a system QB. I want to say this. All players are system players. You got to have the right system. If you try to take I've used this before. If you take a linebacker who is a traditional off-ball linebacker, you take Derrick Brooks and you put him in a 3-4 as an outside linebacker, he's not going to fare very well. And the same thing with a lot of these quarterbacks, a lot of these receivers. You got to be able to call plays that cater to their strengths. So all players are system players. It is up to the coach to utilize a player to his best strengths and the best of his abilities. But I do kind of agree with you. Tua is somewhat of a system guy, and my biggest qualm with Tua is that he will throw those picks that you don't want him to throw. But we won't harp on Tua too much more. Again, you guys let me know in the comments what you think about Tua and where you think we're going to go in that direction. Do you think he's going to be here and be our quarterback for the long haul? Do you think that we're going to do you think he's going to potentially lose that space? If you're just now checking in with us, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can get all of our updates throughout the rest of the off season. And I guess preseason is not preseason just yet, but draft and free agency at least right now. I will also be doing a draft party as well too, so you guys stay tuned for that. We're going to do a watch along, watch party for the NFL draft when it pops up. Also, we're looking to hit 1,000 subscribers before the NFL draft, and we will have a giveaway for you guys if we hit that number. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about Jessie Bates and why you don't get rid of Jessie Bates and why I think he's going nowhere. First and foremost, right now, Jessie Bates is the most experienced player on this defense right now. Now, I think that Divine Diablo will be the green dot player at linebacker for us potentially this year coming up. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't make him the green dot guy, regardless of who is the other starting linebacker come week one. And again, I do like Christian out there, but I think that he will be the green dot player. But Jessie Bates is the heart and soul of this defense. He is a two-time Pro Bowl, All-Pro. No, three-time All-Pro. Might be four. He's made the Pro Bowl, I think, once or twice. But he's been everything you could ask for here in Atlanta since he's gotten here. Another reason that I would say that, and with all that leadership, right, before I get into the next reason, keep in mind that I think he is a huge part and a huge reason for why we've seen Xavier Watts take the early strides that he took very early on. I think that he also helped Watts become a better box defender, if you will. Right now we have two safeties who could play high or they could play in the box. We have two guys who will come down, will fill on run plays, and can tackle. And I think that Xavier Watts made some great improvements as a tackling safety. That was pretty much one of the main concerns that we had with him coming in to last year as a rookie. I don't think he makes those strides if he doesn't have Jessie Bates back there mentoring him. I think you want to be able to get Jessie Bates mentoring him for at least another year, if not two more. The number two reason I don't think that you get rid of Jessie Bates is because a lot of people have said that he's getting longer in the tooth. He's getting a little bit older. He's only 29 years old. Keep in mind that players like Rod Woodson played prime football and still were making Pro Bowls and All-Pro at 35, 36 years old. Ed Reed was making Pro Bowls still at 35, 36 years old. Brian Dawkins was a very effective safety later in his career still. Even Steve Atwater. There's a lot of my other favorite safeties, Ronnie Lott. A lot of these guys have been able to effectively play the safety position a lot later in their career. And one of those reasons, in my humble opinion, is because even though you can lose a step or two at safety, it's one of those cerebral games. As you get older, the football is played right up here. And safety is a thinking man's position, especially the free safety position. Now, in this defense, the way that Jeff Obert likes to use them, there is no differentiation between the free safety and the strong safety. But Jessie Bates has kind of become the de facto free safety. Strong safety a little bit more often, where Xavier Watts is a little bit more of our rangy cover over the top safety. And for that reason, I think that he will be able to continuously play later into his career. I think that Jessie Bates is still in his prime. Even at 30, 31 years old, he's still going to still be an effective safety in this league. And that's something I think he has going for him that someone like Justin Simmons didn't have, which is why we got rid of him and brought in Xavier Watts. Shout out to Steve Hightower hopping into the Bird Bath right there in the chat. Steve Hightower says Bates has a lot in the tank left. I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you, big homie. And my number three reason that I like Jessie Bates, I've kind of already alluded to it though. He's a tough guy. He's a tough SOB. He could play in coverage and he could play as a box safety, and he's not afraid to come down and fill. And that's really hard to find. If you were to trade Jessie Bates, I don't think you would get the value for him that you would want right now. Just think about this. What would you trade for Jessie Bates right now if you're another team? Are you going to give up a first rounder? No. But we're getting first round production from him. We are getting arguably best safety in the league production from Jessie Bates right now. Some people say that he is arguably the best safety in the league right now. Are we going to get somebody in the second round who can replace what Jessie Bates brings to the table? Even as good as Xavier Watts was last year, he had his growing pains, and he had his growing pains very early in the season. Even against Tampa Bay for the game one, he made a lot of good plays. Speaking of Xavier Watts, I think he had an interception or two in that first game, and then over the first few weeks, he had a couple of interceptions. And he still made mistakes. And I just think that Jessie Bates covers a multitude of sins out of the errors that you have out of a shaky part of your other secondary as well, too. Keep in mind that we still have Mike Hughes over there, who's not necessarily a lockdown, shutdown cornerback. Also, keep in mind Billy Bowman. Billy Bowman is still injured himself with that Achilles tear in Hightower. I want you to tell me that as well. Is Billy Bowman going to be back from his Achilles tear, do you think, and effective at the early part of the season, or do you think it's going to take maybe week 3 or 4 or maybe 5 before he's able to get back to the form that we saw him at? What are you saying here? Having Tua just allows Penix the opportunity to totally heal. I believe that even if Tua starts, he's not the future for the Dirty Birds. I kind of agree with that. A lot of people have been saying that Tua is going to be the guy this year and that we should move off from Penix. But I think that Penix has got something to really show. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And I think that signing Tua, you're going to see them unleash that Tampa Dade out of our boy. So those are my main 3 reasons why I would not get rid of Jessie Bates, why I think Jessie Bates is going nowhere. This team is still can be a contender. Keep in mind that last year, and we're going to get into a little game tape. Don't worry. Don't you worry. We're going to get into some game tape before we get out of here. I'll show you a few plays why I love Jessie Bates still. But keep in mind, in my humble opinion, and Mike Florio and Chris Sims said this on Unbuttoned, the Rams are the second best team in the NFL, or they were the second best team in the NFL last year. And we put belt to ass against them boys last year. We had the Patriots game in the bag if it wasn't for our offensive coordinator. We had the Colts on the edge of their seats. We beat the Bills. This team can play ball. This team has some dogs out there. This team has some guys who want to play. We've got guys who ain't no punks. So I think that with that being said, I mean, it was a 3-way tie. If we just win one more game, we're in the playoffs last year. So I think that this is a team that still can be in playoff contention again this year. We didn't rest on our laurels. Although we're probably going to be without James Pierce Jr., we still added to our pass rush and tried to replace that. I think we're still going to add to that in the draft. We added another linebacker. We added a little bit more interior. We added a good run defender. We added a better wide receiver out there. I honestly believe that Jahan Dotson and Olamide Zaccheaus are better than our 2 and 3 receiver that we had last year. Without further ado, though, let's get into some game tape. When I tell you that your boy that your boy Jessie Bates comes down and feels he does. Now, you're not even going to see him in the screen, but just watch where he comes down from as this play develops. Right here. Bam! Meets the running back at the line of scrimmage. Man, you got to love that shit out of your damn, excuse my language, man. I just can't wait till the season starts again. But just look where he comes at. He shoots like a cannonball. Pops that guy right there at the line of scrimmage. Gain for nothing. Maybe a half a yard. But you need that out of your safety. Here goes Bates over here as well, too. Comes down, gets off of that block, and makes that play. You're not going to find very many safeties on the marker who is going to shed that block, get off of them, and hit him. And got your boy Bates right over here. That's him going on your slot receiver. Safeties that likes to get his chin in there. Look at where he comes from. It's invaluable to have safeties in today's NFL that can do everything. It allows you to play a little bit more positionless football. People love the sacks, but it's all about turnovers in this league, man, for how I run these plays back, because they'll try to hit me with a copyright for some reason, man. We over here doing play breakdowns, man. You write the NFL and tell them, petition them. Tell them you want to see Semoski Woski sponsored by the Falcons. Look at that. Pass breakups all underneath, man. Get that whack shit out of here. Like I said, he'll come and hit your tight ends, man. Don't play with my boy, man. Don't sleep on Bates, man. All right, I'm going to read a couple more comments before we get up out of this thing. Trent says, Are we going to let Dahlman walk, then turn around and let Newsel walk to pay the defense? I mean, kind of whatever about Newsel. I like him. He's been good, but we could improve there. He's not bad. I don't think you just let him walk, but you don't overpay anybody. I'm not about overpaying anybody. Also, you say, how do we pay Jessie and a quarterback and the rest of the offense? You got Drake, Bijan, Bergeron, Devine, Harrison, Kyle. Only one tag. I don't think you're gonna have to use a lot of tags. I think it's gonna be a lot of money. We've got upwards of 130 million next year, and I think they still haven't really worked all of their magic with being able to get the most out of their salary cap. I think that they're gonna be able to work a few more deals, get a few more restructures. Keep in mind, we just were able to get our tackle to be able to restructure. I think that the Falcons we're definitely looking for the heir apparent for Jake Matthews, and I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb McGarry, if we were able to get him to restructure again too. Keep in mind, he's going to be off the books next year. You definitely got to re-sign Bergeron. I agree with you. Bijan, I think that we're going to be able to keep him. I think it would be. I would cry real tears if we did not re-sign Zach Harrison. I think he is just starting to come into his own, and I think he is a future star in this league. I'm not saying he's a superstar, but I think that he has some Calais Campbell in him. I think that he's a guy that you could see perennially in that 5 to 7 or 8 sacks range. Honestly, I think that he was going to lead our team in sacks potentially if he didn't get hurt. There's a very strong chance that he's going to have as many sacks as Brandon Dorlus last year, and I believe that this year he's going to have just as many as Brandon Dorlus as well too. Hightower, let's see, says he looks like Troy Polamalu. Talking about Jessie Bates, think that that's quite a compliment, man. I don't so much disagree. I think he does a lot of things that Polamalu can do. He's like, I want to say a little bit like Dawkins, and he's got some Polamalu. He's definitely got some instinctiveness. You love to see that out of a safety, for sure. Trent says we have like 15 one-year deals. Those guys will all need to be paid. I don't think that all those guys are going to get paid. I think that Christian Harris, is that his name? Linebacker we signed, I think that if he shows himself and proves that he'll get a deal potentially. I think that Jahan Dotson, I think we have him on a 2-year deal. Zacchaeus doesn't necessarily you don't have to bring him back. It depends on what happens with Aziz and what happens with Samson Ebukam. I believe that our boy at defensive tackle, Lakel London, I think that we can easily sign him for another 2 or 3 years. He's a little bit older. I think he's 28, maybe 28 or 29 years old. And I don't think he's going to command so much that you can't pay him. But I'm not bothered. I think that having all these 1-year deals allows us to make a lot more moves in the draft, to be honest with you. You also said if you love foot, a lot of Falcons plays fire. If you love football, a lot of Falcons plays fire you up. We battle every snap. Definitely agree, man. I think that this culture and this team, the attitude of this team is going to be a lot different. We definitely brought in some guys who love to compete, but I believe that Stefanski is all about hard-nosed, tough football, and that's going to be his stamp on this team, is making sure that this team is very prepared. I love that he retained Jeff Ulbrich. I think that Ulbrich is going to really have a field day with a lot of those guys that he has. I believe that we're going to see a lot more big edges. I think that last year he played a little bit more toward what Raheem's system was. I think he likes the multiplicity. And if you have guys that can play on that edge, you can walk down on the edge as better pass rushers, speed rushers on 3rd and 4th down. He's going to use them. But I believe that Aziz and Ebukam kind of bring something to the table that specifically, it's kind of drawing a blank, but the kid that we didn't re-sign, that was the 2nd rounder, who we replaced that was on the edge for us, Ebiketie. I think that he brings something to the table. Both of those guys bring something to the table that Ebiketie didn't have. I think that Ebiketie's a pretty solid pass rusher, but I believe that both of those guys are better run defenders and they're better tacklers than him. And for that reason, I mean, we'll see what happens with James Harrison. I'm sorry, James Pierce. We'll see what happens with him moving forward. There's a chance he could be back this year, and if he's not back this year, maybe it's next year, or maybe we have to move off of him. But that at least buys us another year to be able to decide what we're going to do, and maybe we even get a guy in the draft. I would really like to see what happens with Braylon Trice, though. I hope that he can really come along. He hasn't played yet, but he's got an opportunity. Troy Anderson also restructured his deal, believe it or not, and that's huge for us. He saved us a few million in cap space. If Troy Anderson can really come along, that's going to be huge for us as well, too. And for that reason, I know I've been saying a lot that I really want to see us sign another off-ball linebacker or be able to draft one, but he might really step into his own. Imagine if he plays a full season and he could really live up to the hype of what we had him at, and we could really get something out of him. That, again, that's another guy that we're going to have to pay, to your point, Trent, but I really like our chances of what he could do if we can be able to keep him healthy. Hell, he's had 2 seasons off by now. He should be healthy enough and should have recovered, though. Again, if you made it this far, hit that like and subscribe button for us. Hit that notifications bell. Man, help us get to that 1,000 mark, bro. You guys have been diligently doing it, but we got to make it happen a lot faster, man. I want to make it happen by the time this NFL draft comes. And we've got a little under a month left, so help your boy out, man. Buy your boy a drink. Drinking cerveza is an expensive habit for those of you out here in this economy, man. Gas prices are pretty high, man, so help us get to that number, man. That's our time for today. Stay tuned. Hit that notifications bell. I will keep hitting you guys all off season with more Falcons talk. We'll be doing more film breakdowns. Let me know any players that you guys want to see me do breakdowns on as well, too. I'm going to try to do some tape on Jacob Rodriguez. I just saw a mock draft the other day where Phil Yates had him going in the first or second round. He's really jumped up the charts. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Maybe we were able to get a wide receiver, your boy out of UGA, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. I do believe that the Falcons will trade up, though. But let me know who you guys are eyeing after all the recent changes. Oh, also, we did sign, before I get out of here, I will say, we just signed another running back, Tyler Goodson. He's a guy that also, he's a depth piece. He's a depth piece. I think that Brian Robinson gives you a lot of that hard-nosed football that you want to see. But Tyler Goodson, he's handled some kickoff returns and a little bit of punt coverage, punt return coverage task as well, too. So not saying he's going to be our special teams kick returner, but it's always good when you have guys who can fill that role. But I like the depth that the Falcons are bringing at the running back position. I wasn't completely sold on what we had at running back. Now, if we do have somebody that gets hurt, if Bijan gets hurt, we have 2 viable running backs who can probably more than likely carry a real workload. I think that Brian Robinson gives you that, that replacement for Tyler Algier. And hopefully Goodson is a guy that can play as well, too. I wasn't quite so sure of the backfield before that, but now we've got a lot more competition on this team. So your boy C Mitchell, checking out for Bird Bath ATL and Point Game Official. Peace.